Let's go. Your team and your country. Could there be anything in the world more important than representing Serbia? Okay? Don't ever let that slip away. There's millions of people in this country that don't get the opportunity, that never get to say, I represented Serbia in a war. Okay? And football is a war. Okay? Play your ass off. Have fun, play your ass off, make a great memory for about 20 years from now. You can tell the kids, I remember we kicked the shit out of you. Okay? So 48 minutes of getting after it, 40 minutes of having fun. Damn it! I'm Dag Atkins, the head coach of the Serbian national team. I'm originally from the state of Washington, raised in a very small town in the middle of the state. Probably nobody's ever heard of a place called Kashmir. I was lucky enough during my junior high years to move to the Canal Zone in Panama with one of my uncles, and so went back to Kashmir and graduated from Kashmir High School, and actually started my playing career at Kashmir High School. I always thought I was more of a basketball player than a football player because I found out they got more girls, but I ended up as a football player in high school and had a very nice career in high school, and went on to a local junior college and on to Central Washington University, where I was a 3-year starter on the football team. So I kind of got indoctrinated in football when I was in the 8th grade, was when we started football at home, and ever since then I played the game, and then after about 8-9 years of playing, I decided it was time to coach.
Okay, what was the most successful moment in your playing career in USA?
You know, it's funny. Ironically, I think the most successful moment was in basketball, because I hit a jump shot at the end of the buzzer to send us into the state tournament. So, you know, it's finally, I don't really have a lot of great memories of high school football, other than the high school basketball game, making that one shot. And then I was lucky enough to, you know, have a pretty good career at Central Washington. So, you know, that probably was the highlight of the longevity of my career.
When did you retire from playing American football?
Well, you know, after my senior year, I had a short stint, and I say short with a real capital S, in the Canadian League, just to try out, which, you know, I found out I was too slow and too small to play in that league. So, you know, basically when I graduated from college, it was time to hang it up and get into the coaching ranks.
Okay. How did you come to Europe, the whole idea to coach teams? And so
it was kind of funny how it started. I was coaching at Central Washington at the time. I saw something in the NCAA news that a team that Finland was looking for American football coaches to go coach in Finland. So I sent an application, and they called me later. Or I can't remember. Obviously, that time must have been a call, but they called me later, and a team in Tampere said, we'd like you to be our coach. It was kind of ironic. They said the Helsinki teams didn't want you, but we'll take you. So that was back in 1985. So you know, I ended up coaching in Finland, and was lucky enough there to coach their national team and win a European championship with their national team.
So you said 1985? Or?
I did say 1985.
Okay,
yes,
okay.
I did. Yes. As much as I hate to say 1985,
okay.
It was 1985. Yes. I was very, very young.
Yeah. What was the situation with American football in Europe at that time? Of course, we know that American football is American football,
right,
basically, but at that time, can you make difference?
Well, you know, it was certainly in its infancy. You know, they had moved from football pads, from hockey pads to football pads, and you know, it was actually a pretty well-established program at that time in 1985, and you know, we did go on and win the European Championship, so it spoke a little bit for the caliber of the football. But, you know, it's been a growth ever since then in American football in Europe. Seems to get better every year.
Okay, and how did American football grow in Europe for decades?
Well, I think the fact that it's a fun game. It's a game that challenges guys both physically and mentally. I think that has a lot to do with it, and it's kind of, I hate to use the word macho type thing, but you know, it's kind of a chance for guys to sometimes let their aggression out in the field. Bottom line is, it's a fun game. It's so popular at home in the States, and I think it's gradually catching on. And there's so much more to the game than for what the average person sees, and so technical yet so physical.
Okay, and where is better to work, in Europe or in USA?
Oh, see, now there's a loaded question. I enjoyed them. I enjoyed them both. The great thing about coaching in Europe is you get to experience the European culture, and you know, and you're not actually a tourist. You're not actually, you know, a European, but you're very close. And the best thing about coaching, regardless of where you coach, is the relationship you get with the players. You know, those are the things that last, and hopefully, what you can help those players become better people in the long run.
Okay, let's focus now on Serbia. When did you hear for American football in Serbia? How did you?
Well, it's ironic. In 2010, I was coaching the Danube Dragons, and our first game was a friendly game against Vukovi. So the very first team after the stint in Finland that I coached was the Dragons, and the first team we played was Vukovi. So it was kind of a unique situation, not knowing what would happen 5 years down the road. So, you know, it's funny. I do remember in 2010 that Vukovi had a great tackle, and we thought one of the best tackles we played against all year, and he ended up helping us coach the national team last year, which was kind of full cycle for me. And then we also that year played the Blue Dragons in the Euro Bowl, so that was my first experience 2010 against Serbian teams.
Okay, and at that time, how did you? What was your view of Serbian American football?
Well, we thought that.
On which level?
Well, at that time, we thought Vukovi was one of the better teams we played that year. We went on to win the Austrian Bowl, and probably should have won the Euro Bowl, but we lost a close game. But we thought Vukovi was one of the better teams we played, and like I said, we thought Pero was one of the best offensive linemen we played against.
Okay, and now the story goes that you came in Serbia in 2013-14, I guess, as head coach of Dag Atkins.
Yes.
Am I wrong?
No, you're right. Perfectly right. Yeah. Again, there's another funny story. As a head coach, I dealt with, you know, both offense and defense, but predominantly most of my career was with the defensive side of the ball. And but the Dukes wanted an offensive coach. Surgeon was the guy I was dealing with, and he kind of said, "Coach, well, I don't know if you can coach offense. You know, I don't know if you can coach off." Finally, they said, "Okay, we'll give you a try." So it was kind of a funny story.
And you are now practically work in Serbia. You are not living in Serbia, but practically you are in.
Well, I think I honestly, in the last 2 years, have spent more time in Serbia than I have in the U.S. Yeah, and, you know, it's kind of going to be culture shock to go home.
Okay, and how did you see, or how do you see American football in Serbia? Our players, our play, and everything about it.
You know, I think it's growing. You know, to be honest, you know, they need to stabilize the league a little bit more. But you know, everything about Serbian football, I like it. You know, it's growing. It's getting better every single year. You know, we just need more structure, and you know, it takes time to develop programs, you know, and so that's the biggest thing. It's going to take time to develop junior programs, to develop the U19s, and so you have an actual feeding system so guys can come in every single year. So you don't see teams going from really good to a whole bunch of guys retiring to going to really bad.
So you think that all those things we need to improve
Well, I think you constantly need to improve, and no matter what you do in life, I mean, if you stay the same, you're not improving and you're not getting any better. So, you know, no matter what you do, I think you constantly got to look at ways to improve. How can I build a better ship? How can I get things going better? So, you know, I think that's a constant in all life, and I think that the Serbian football is going through that just like any other organization, and that's really truly what it is in an organization. So, you know, I think that every organization needs to grow, and I think it's growing through those steps, and I think they're doing it right. You know.
What after this tournament about you? What is your plan for the future?
Okay, my plan for the future. Wow, I have not even thought about that, to be honest. You know, you get so involved and so intense in this tournament that you don't even think about tomorrow, to be very honest. I know that. I'm actually going to go back to my home little town for a class reunion, which I haven't seen my classmates in, I won't say how long. So I'm not going to tell you what reunion it is, because I will not do that. But, you know, and then just kind of evaluate, you know, where I am and what I want to do.
How do you feel as American in Serbia and in Belgrade? We know that you are living in Belgrade.
You know, it's so funny, but I don't.
About the culture,
I don't.
The mentality.
It's funny. I don't feel
like stranger,
like an American. You know what I'm saying? But it's so funny because people, it's weird. They automatically know that you're an American, and so I don't feel that way. You know, to be honest, coaching the national team last year was my very best experience in Europe. It was the guys that I work with, Branko and Blažo, and those guys they made me feel so much at home. And, you know, when I got home, I told my girlfriend, I said, that was without a doubt the best experience I've ever had in Europe. And so, you know, everything here has been positive. So, no, I don't feel like a stranger. So I probably am, and probably stand out like a sore thumb. But no, I feel normal. It's at home. You know, I do miss driving a car, but those are just some of the things.
Okay, Dag, thank you very much for your time. And
no problem. No problem.